All right, welcome to SRS Chess, where I was playing the Bled Chess Festival classifier. That's a tongue twister. Um, this is a real qualifier where uh, 50, the top 50 finishers get entry into the Bled Chess Festival. I joined the qualifier a little late because I didn't know what was going on, and I saw that it was. I believe it has a €6,000 value for the prizes. But after joining late, I played two games, which I won. So I was just going to go over them along with ascribe the meaning that I believe exists here, and kind of explain my theory, my beliefs, and all else as it relates to chess and online chess. My opponent blundering a piece to that very well-known tactic. A lot of the time, the knight on the queen side is able to drop back and then simultaneously block any checks made by the queen and defend the bishop when it comes down there. You'll see that happen with like the Bowdler attack coming out of a Sicilian defense opening. So now I want to defend the pawn twice. And now I want to bring the bishop out and castle immediately. Again, this was my third game after joining the qualifier late for the queen trade, and I won the first two games. So I would describe my thoughts about online chess in the sort of following way. My opponent's rated 2,300, by the way. So a lot of the time I'll use terms like shadow banned or sometimes just banned or not allowed to play or things like that. And then of course there's like all this backlash. That was very hard to avoid that, by the way. I think it was like that tactic that he had was almost unstoppable from a couple moves out. So I would have needed to go back quite a ways to figure out how to avoid that. What I'm really talking about when I use terms like shadow banned, not allowed to play, all those things, what I'm talking about is sort of like, just imagine this, if you will. There's a place in Florida called Key West. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. I'm sure a lot of people have not. That was a blunder. I blundered that pawn. His dark square bishop can take it whenever he wants. And now I really just need to get my rooks out and stop his passed pawn, and then I'll have a winning position. So if you don't know what Key West is, it's a real island off the coast of Florida. It's to the south of Florida. I think it's the southernmost point in the United States, or at least like the 48 states, not including Hawaii. I'm not sure about Hawaii, but Key West is the furthest place south of certainly the 48 states, maybe all 50. If you ever go to Key West, you'll notice that there are a lot of, it looks fake. Like the whole place just looks fake. Now I blunder here because I thought that there was no increment. So every time that I move or my opponent moves, you get 2 seconds back. I didn't notice that. So I blundered just terribly here. And what's going to happen is something that happens all the time against opponents of all ratings when I play chess on either website. What's going to happen is I now allow a checkmate in one, and he just stops playing and runs out of time there. That happens to me all the time. So I win my first 3 games. So again, Key West is a real place, a real island that's really off the coast of Florida, and anybody who wants can just drive right in there. And there are real people who really live there, and almost all of them work in like hospitality. So they work at the hotels there. They work at the touristy places. You can go to the place that Ernest Hemingway used to write novels later in his life, although he didn't live to be very old, but later in his life. in relative terms. So all of these places are really there, but there are also a ton of street performers. So there are people doing magic, there are people doing like things that you see at an amusement park, like a guy who will try to guess your age, or somebody who'll try to guess what you do for a living with only 3 or 4 guesses or whatever. All of these things are happening there. And if I were to go out there and say, I was worried about him sacrificing his knight here, but it's not actually a move because his queen's not in a position to join in. So I can swing the bishop around. That's what I was basically trying to see, is do I have time to swing the bishop around this way and continue the game safely? And my answer was probably. So now, good. Okay. So if I were to go up to somebody at Key West, and if I were to go up to a street performer at Key West and say, like, he's not a real street musician or magician, I'm sorry. Well, musician probably works too. But I saw more magicians than musicians there. So if I were to say, this guy's not a real street magician, I saw him come out. He works for the hotel that he's performing in front of. He's working for the restaurant that he's performing in front of. I would be right. I would be right. That would be true. I probably would never actually say that, for the reason that everybody knows. And when I talk about when I talk about the status of my account on Lichess or chess.com, I do so in a way that I wouldn't do if I thought that everybody knew that what I was talking about was true. But I don't know that. It's very hard to say. Now I'm going to try to defend my pawns and play this game, which looks pretty equal, although my guess is, based on what I can remember from the game review, I think I might be losing here. It's very difficult to say without the help of like an engine. And it's probably equal here, I would guess. Okay, so when I talk about being like shadow banned on Lichess, things like that, it's based on a number of factors. And one of those factors is what I've personally witnessed when I've played at chess tournaments. What I've personally witnessed is that some people seem to have a genuine online chess ratings which accurately correspond with their level of play. I've seen people well, at least they say that their rating is like 500, 600, and it seems very low, actually. I would say the same about my rating. It seems very low compared to how I play. Other people, it seemed accurate for. Other people, it seemed way too high for. So it's very confusing. But my guess would be that what it comes down to is the fact that AI is ruining online chess. My opponent makes this incredibly basic mistake here that, like, I never see in games. If the king takes the pawn here, I will be able to promote my pawn. The only way he can stop it is with the rook. So that is a massive mistake. Like, that is the fact that my opponent's rated 2100 and made that error. It is a blitz game where you only start with 3 minutes on the clock, but you would not expect that somebody would make that error at this level of play. So now the game is it's probably a draw at this point, but now he makes the same mistake again. So now the game is over. I win. No matter what he does, I'm going to win the game. But he resigns. Excellent. So now I've won all these games in a row, and I'm feeling pretty good about my chances. All right, so now this game is this whole thing that I'm showing is edited to display in the simplest possible terms what I want to convey. which is the same thing as all the stuff I'm saying about Key West. I should have played that move. I have a fork. But I go the other way because there are always like tactics where the rook coordinates with the bishop and whatnot, especially whatnot. So the difference between like the Key West analogy and what I actually see in online chess is that I don't know where people quote unquote work. So if there's somebody who plays chess on chess.com, well, they might work with them. They might stream for a chess.com affiliated streamer or Discord group, or have some sort of informal, unspoken connection to them. And all sorts of people do indeed have that. When I played at chess tournaments, there were people there who publicly have jobs with or in conjunction with affiliated or unaffiliated, loosely connected, etc. streams, YouTube channels, chessable courses, puzzle experts, what have you. All those people are at chess.com affiliated tournaments. And if I go around at a chess tournament saying these people have fabricated ratings on chess.com or Lichess, these people aren't fairly earning their rating or whatever, I think a lot of people would scoff at that, and a lot of people would say that a lot of people would think that it would be humiliating to talk about or say, and that it's like a ridiculous thing to even be talking about. Again, for the reason that probably everybody basically knows that this is true. My opponent played like the best move like 100 times in a row at this point. So I think after you saw like the 2100 demonstrate that his endgame was objectively weaker than mine, which is not saying anything. That was also the top engine move, by the way. The 2100s have an objectively weaker endgame than me, but now here we're down to the 1900s, and they're just squeezing water out of a rock in order to effectively win this game. I don't know if everybody understands that a lot of people have essentially fake ratings. Very nice. If people have favorable accounts, because when I talk about being shadow banned, I guess the impression that I get is that most people do not have the experience that I do. And yet when I watch chess streamers, or when I see a lot of people's ratings online, my impression is very different. It's that I don't know something, that my account is not right, because I certainly do not face the kind of opponents that any chess streamer faces. The ones that I face are obviously robots. And maybe you have to be really good at chess to know that all of these people are robots. Maybe you have to be 1500, but at this point in time, it's very hard to say what that even means. So I played the best move here. Very nice move, hard to find. I would have gotten like checkmated in one move if I had gone up and taken that bishop, or not that bishop, that pawn. Yes. If I had taken the pawn with the rook, I would have gotten checkmated on that move. So I do go after his rook. I counterattack his rook. He pushes the pawn, and then if he pushes the pawn, I decided that I was going to take the bishop, which I think I'll show. Yes. Okay, so I think those are all the best move. So I wouldn't be sitting around talking about the fact that I think that my account is quote unquote shadow banned in comparison to that of chess streamers, professional players, and the like. But it's a lot like going to Key West. I don't know. Like I don't know what most people think. I don't know what most people know. But there definitely are people who I have watched in unless they're just completely literally pretending to play chess. I have seen people get matched in the players pool against really bad players. The best example of this would be the chess streamer of the year, who was like a League of Legends streamer or something like that, which I've never played before. I have no idea. But some League of Legends player, there were people tracking his games in real time, and all of his opponents were awful. So yeah, I could see how it would be funny to other people, that there would be somebody at Key West going around acting like he doesn't know that everyone is well aware of the fact that all of the street performers are not really like independent magicians who are doing shows that everybody around them believes are like the equivalent of what a chess hustler in New York City would be doing. That was the only mistake that I made in what I showed of this game. So if you saw the winning move, congratulations. It was very hard to see. I had to see like 5 moves into the future if I had wanted to understand why I should have done what I should have done in that position. Very difficult tactic. You'll see it eventually, or maybe you won't. But I mean, so anyways, the you could imagine at one point in time that perhaps Key West would add a chess hustler as like entertainment. I could absolutely see that. That was what he was doing. The last like 4 moves was forcing not only the rook trade, but that wins the pawn. So without those precise moves, nothing I did would have been wrong. I think it would have all forced a winning position, or at very least a draw. So he found the only winning continuation there. So my first 3 opponents, who were all, I think they were rated like 1700, 2000, 2100, and 2300. All of them were definitely beatable. But now when we're down to the 2000s, many of whom play like 1,000 games a month, every single month, every year for the last 7 years, very often, one would suspect that they are not humans at all, but they are absolutely AI. So if there ever were a chess hustler in Key West, they would most certainly be working with like one of the restaurants around town. Now, I just blundered a pawn. I thought that I could still draw the game by trapping his knight, and then I realized I probably couldn't. So at this point, I thought I could maybe trap his knight, and then by now I've realized that he couldn't. So I go for the trade because I wasn't totally sure that I was lost, and now I was sure that I was lost. He's gonna be able to win this game with perfect play, and you can guarantee that will happen. So if I were a magician, though, I would also be able to say like how good the street magicians were there. And they're not real street magicians. Again, they literally are people pretending to be independent, and they're not. So my opponent, they're also finding the only winning combination. Once again, this opponent's rated, I mean, he's playing without the requirement of time, and like almost everybody's AI. There we go. That game I made like 1 mistake, and that was it. So that's it. And now my tournament is over. So just imagine going down to Key West, though, and being like a really good magician who's not getting paid for their magic. This would not equate to me as like a chess streamer, although when I stream chess, that is what happened to me. The same thing is what's happening to me now. Everything I did and said became lost in a sea of AI and things that were not made by humans. And I'm not even arguing that I'm more entertaining than the AI, because apparently to other people I wasn't. And I probably would have started streaming like 20 years before I actually did, had streaming been something that I'm passionate about or wanted to do. I've never really wanted to be a streamer. I don't like streaming culture. I'm also bad at sound production, and it doesn't really bother me though. I just wanted to kind of prove a point, which would be like if I were a good street magician, I went down to Key West and I saw somebody making a lot of money who sucked at doing magic. And that's ultimately my problem with the state of online chess, which is that I know that everybody said it was doomed. I know that everybody said that it was going to get devoured by AI. And I know that the people who are in powerful positions in the world of online chess and streaming are of that opinion. They believe that that all is lost and humans shouldn't even try anymore. And those are the people who own the platforms. They've already taken all of their money out of things like live streams and tournaments and things that humans watch. They're no longer investing in those things. That was the best move there. It was a really nice move to find. So I guess you can ask yourself all the same question that I ask myself when I upload a video to YouTube. You can ask yourself, in the things that I'm doing right now, would I continue to do those things if I didn't have anything to gain from them? If everything I did was just for fun, would I still do those things? And what I've seen from most people is that the vast majority of what they do on the internet, they do to try to like not look stupid and to try to be part of a community. And no, they would not do the vast majority of, they wouldn't be creating content. They wouldn't be making YouTube videos. They wouldn't be doing any of those things unless they were part of like a Discord group that botted each other's streams and made fake donations. They wouldn't upload videos of their chess games because they're more or less pretending to play chess. And I'm not talking about professional players there. I'm talking about like really I have lesser known streamers. I'll just say that. Those people are doing what they do with the sort of belief and implication that everything that they do is to try to be part of a group and cool. And everything that I do on the internet, because I'm old, probably, is done because I do things I like to do. And it's been disheartening to see that even when you have actual prize money involved, like this thing right here, it's still the same thing, where the first few opponents that you play are easy. And then I guess my guess would be that when somebody reports you, it just triggers the system to give you like a temporary restriction from playing real human beings or people who they suspect are human beings. They're not using assistants, and that really all you need to do to to ruin someone's time playing chess on the internet, you probably just need to report them. That's probably all you need to do. And they'll probably be banished to a wasteland of soulless chess play, AI, and I guess it just kind of sucks. So he blundered his bishop. Robots don't play perfectly. Human beings using assistants don't play perfectly. But they're uniquely non-human trends, which I have observed, commented on, and shown for people. Those things include, but are not limited to, when people do not ever say anything in chat. Again, I don't say anything in the game chat, so not every person does. But it's a thing that humans do. So if you see thousands of players who stop speaking to you, that's not a human thing, because someone would talk to you using the chat eventually. When I look at the chat on the left-hand side, and it goes from English to Turkish, or everything is suddenly in Russian, as happened during this tournament, that's not human. When every single player plays the top move or top engine move, even if it's like only 35 out of 50 times, it's not human. The best players in the world find the best move a third of the time. That's a real statistic, and it's true. The best players, Magnus Carlsen included, find the best possible move a third of the time. And I don't think that my experience or my statistics are even relevant, because when you play against a computer and you know that they're going to make one of the best moves every time, then it becomes easier to play the best move. I don't know where other people's accounts are at. I don't know if the analogy of Key West is even accurate to equate to streamers in this age of the internet, because I don't know whether or not other people legitimately think that they are coming upon an organic, independent magician when they see it like a chess streamer, or if they understand like this person does not have the playing experience on chess.com, and the website does not match you with the same population of the player pool as it would for a chess streamer. That it just doesn't. You're going to get matched. Oh, could he have won my queen there? Maybe. He might have been able to. I don't know if these are things people know, which would make it reasonable for me to try telling others that what's going on, or if everyone knows this and they think that it's really funny that I don't know. But I don't see how it is funny, because it's like, it seems like people genuinely don't know. So now I blundered into a draw in a very human way. But I do have a draw with perfect play. And you can guarantee that my opponent's going to find some way to at least try to get a win out of this. But it is, you can just visually tell at this point it is objectively a draw. I think it would be winning actually for my opponent to make a queen trade there, but I do get the draw. So now that was one of only 2 games that I won or drew after the first 5 games that I won or whatever. So beat a 2300, beat a 2100, beat a 2000, beat a 1900, beat a 1700, and then I think like I beat a 1500 and got a draw. But it's really not about rating. It's just about online chess, even even in a for money tournament.